Godwin gets it on the handoff, and he's in. Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
There are a lot of players out there that aren't getting the recognition that they deserve. We're talking about players who are carrying teams on their backs, but just are getting overshadowed by maybe one or two other guys, or maybe because they're stuck on an otherwise lackluster squad. But don't worry, we're here today to shine a spotlight on these unsung heroes. When you think of the elite, ultra-talented NFL players, the obvious names come to mind. Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Donald, Trent Williams, Justin Jefferson, Aaron Rodgers, Derrick Henry, Joe Burrow, and of course the list goes on and on. But there's a tier of vastly underrated NFL stars that, despite boasting elite production and world-class skill sets of their own, never really seem to get the attention and credit that they deserve. But the stats don't lie. These 10 players are true superstars, and it's time to start giving them the recognition that their counterparts receive.
Straight drop for Smith, and right at the...
Chris Godwin. Everyone knows that Godwin is a productive wide receiver, but he's always been overshadowed by teammate Mike Evans. The latter has been around much longer and has racked up the touchdowns over the years, but there's a strong case to be made that Godwin is the better receiver. Godwin broke out in 2019 with 86 receptions for 1,333 yards and 9 touchdowns. And as great as he was for Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their Super Bowl 50 championship season, guys like Evans, TB12, Rob Gronkowski, Antonio Brown, and Leonard Fournette were stealing plenty of the thunder in Florida. Now, what if we told you that since 2019, Godwin has more receiving yards than DeAndre Hopkins, Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf, Keenan Allen, and Mike Williams? Now, also consider that Godwin led the Bucs in receiving in 2021 despite missing the team's final 3 games. He was the big dog over Evans, Brown, and Gronk. Think about that for a moment. A healthy Godwin is good for well over 1,000 yards a season. It just feels like his recognition won't come unless Evans plays somewhere else, even though these two superstars have been putting up similar numbers for several years now. James Bradberry. It certainly isn't unfair to overlook Bradberry's incredible 2022 season because of a questionable holding call that wound up deciding the results of Super Bowl 57. Without Bradberry, the Philadelphia Eagles might not even get to the big game in the first place. Bradberry and fellow Pro Bowler Darius Slay were the NFL's best cornerback duo of 2022, and quite frankly, one of the best that the NFL has seen in many years. Bradberry earned his first career Pro Bowl nod as a member of the New York Giants in 2020. He came to the Eagles on a 1-year pact and turned in by far his best season yet, earning second-team All-Pro honors. A ball-hawking specialist, Bradberry has a whopping 99 career pass defenses in 109 NFL games. Per PFF, Bradberry allowed just a 51.8 passer rating in coverage in 2022. It's no wonder the Eagles were so keen to give him a new 3-year extension in free agency. Now we'll see if Bradberry can retain his high level of play and make his case as a top 5 cornerback in the game. Quinnen Williams. Even though he was the number 3 selection of the 2019 NFL Draft, Williams was actually considered a great value pick by the New York Jets. Only Kyler Murray and Nick Bosa went ahead of Williams, who some believe to be the most talented player in the draft. Williams had a pretty meh rookie season, and his strong progress in 2020 was overlooked by the fact that the Jets straight up sucked. They once again sucked in 2021, so folks once again never really recognized how much Williams was balling out there on the field. But Williams put together a monster year on an improved Jet squad in 2022, racking up a career-high 12 sacks to go along with 4 pass defenses and 2 forced fumbles. Defensive tackles don't usually have high sack totals, but Williams finally made his mark by dominating that department in year 4. The Alabama product earned his first career Pro Bowl and first-team All-Pro selections in 2022. Pro Football Focus had him graded at 90.1 on the year, which is really remarkable. In other words, the elite production and talent was there, but the recognition just wasn't. And playing on a defense with superstar Ahmad Sauce Gardner won't help Williams earn more attention down the road either, but we're sure he's fine with it. No problem with flying under the radar if it means playing on an elite defense that can win you more games. Chris Lindstrom. To be honest, the Atlanta Falcons have been quite the afterthought since Julio Jones' departure, and it's hard for any great player who's not a skill position guy to really stand out on a mediocre team. For offensive linemen not named Zach Martin or Trent Williams, you're almost always overlooked and underappreciated. Guys like Chris Lindstrom know all about it. He is a bona fide superstar guard on a mediocre Atlanta team, and as such, you've got the makeup of a vastly underrated player. The number 14 pick of the 2019 NFL Draft has grown into one of football's premier guards over the last 2 seasons. He finally got some recognition by earning Pro Bowl and second-team All-Pro nods in 2022, but those honors do not do him justice. Pro Football Focus ranked Lindstrom as the 12th best player of the 2022 NFL season, a huge jump from his 55th overall ranking from a year earlier. Per PFF, Lindstrom allowed 0 sacks in 2021 and only 2 in 2022, but again, his main strength is his run blocking, which explains why guys like Cordarrelle Patterson and Tyler Algier have emerged as game changers in Atlanta's backfield. The Cowboys' Zach Martin has long been viewed as the best guard in football, but you know, it's time to start putting Lindstrom's name into that conversation. Demario Davis. Davis had 2 stints with the New York Jets and 1 year with the Cleveland Browns in between before joining the New Orleans Saints in 2018. Since coming to the Big Easy, Davis has been one of football's premier do-it-all linebackers. 2022 marked Davis's long overdue first Pro Bowl selection as well as a 3rd straight second-team All-Pro selection. Davis was previously a first-team All-Pro back in 2019, and yet it just feels like this workhorse doesn't get the credit that he truly deserves. The Saints defense has been headlined by Cameron Jordan and Marshawn Lattimore in recent years, but you can't ignore just how pivotal Davis has been in steering the engine on that unit. In 2022, Davis recorded a career-high 6.5 sacks to go along with an interception and 6 passes defended. He has been above average compared to most linebackers in pass coverage and, of course, remains a beast against the run. Like a fine wine, Davis just seems to get better with age. If New Orleans can somehow return to relevance with Derek Carr now in the fold for 2023, maybe, just maybe, Davis will earn the recognition that he truly deserves. Colton Miller. The Raiders had a mostly horrible draft track record in the John Gruden, Mike Mayock era. And Colton Miller, the number 15 pick of the 2018 draft, though, was one of Gruden's very few hits. Miller struggled to stand out on a once stellar Raiders O-line that had other household names in Trent Brown, Gabe Jackson, and Rodney Hudson. But over the last 2 years, Miller has been an absolute rock on an otherwise leaky Raiders pass protection group. Oh, and Miller hasn't been named to a Pro Bowl or All-Pro team, which to me sounds like someone isn't getting the recognition that they truly deserve. Considering that Miller was PFF's number 63 ranked player for the 2022 season, even higher than the likes of Derwin James, Jalen Waddle, Garrett Wilson, Darius Slay, and Trevor Lawrence, among others, and just a year earlier, PFF had Miller ranked as the 46th best player of the season, again paints a picture of someone not getting the recognition that they deserve. Like we said, offensive linemen in general are often overlooked. Stats and PFF's ultra-reliable data doesn't lie though. This man has to be viewed as a borderline top 10 offensive lineman going forward, plain and simple. Tremaine Edmunds. The ex-Buffalo Bills star had a phenomenal 4-year run in Orchard Park and was paid for what he was worth, getting $72 million over 4 years from the Chicago Bears, who fielded football's worst defense in 2022. Though he missed 4 games, last season was easily the best of Edmunds' career. Per Pro Football Reference, he allowed a passer rating of just 69.9 when targeted and didn't surrender a single touchdown in coverage. PFF also graded Edmunds at 90.0 in coverage for 2022, which was the best mark for all linebackers. Edmunds is a beast as a coverage specialist in run defense and in open field tackling. It was hard for him to stand out on an elite Buffalo defense that already had Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Tre'Davious White, and Von Miller, but a move to Chicago might be exactly what it takes to get this man some proper recognition. Tyler Lockett. When you're constantly churning out 1,000-yard seasons and you're not even the number 1 receiver on your team, you're obviously doing something right. Such is the case with Lockett, another late-round gem whom the Seattle Seahawks snagged in the 3rd round at 69th overall in 2015. He was a solid receiving option over his first 3 seasons, but mostly stood out as a special teams weapon. Since 2018, however, Lockett has been one of football's most consistent wideouts. What if we told you that over the last 5 years, his 5,284 receiving yards are 9th most across the league? And in that span, only Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, and Travis Kelce have more receiving touchdowns than Lockett's 45. And again, that is as Seattle's number 2 receiver. He has played second fiddle to superstar DK Metcalf since 2019, and all Lockett has done is recorded 4 straight seasons of over 70 catches, 1,000 receiving yards, and 8 receiving touchdowns. You can only imagine what kind of numbers Lockett would put up as a team's number 1 option. Levante David. Okay, let's be real. The Buccaneers were completely irrelevant until Tom Brady came along in 2020. And that unfortunately meant Levante David having to get overlooked time and time again until the GOAT's arrival brought a whole new level of national exposure to the Bucs. But the truth is, David had been a premier NFL linebacker since his 2012 rookie year. He was a first-team All-Pro as a sophomore in 2013, a Pro Bowler in 2015, and a second-team All-Pro in 2016 and 2020. But even when the Bucs became a juggernaut in 2020, it's not like David was getting the credit on defense. Much of that was going to other big-name stars like Devin White, Antoine Winfield Jr., Jason Pierre-Paul, Vita Vea, and Shaq Barrett. Despite playing a physically punishing position, David has played an entire regular season 7 times. He has recorded at least 100 tackles in 9 of his 11 NFL seasons. He is the heart and soul of the Tampa defense. He does it all as a pass rusher, run stopper, cover man, and an open field tackling. David is the model of consistency, and his longtime loyalty to the Bucs has to be appreciated. David's lack of individual accolades will likely keep him out of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but you know, that's okay. The Buccaneers will surely one day retire his number and place David in the Ring of Honor. David showed no signs of slowing down in 2022 and figures to be a difference maker for several more years. And that does not bode well for 31 other teams. Kevin Bayard. It has been all too easy to really just focus on Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee, but let me tell you, this team's recent string of success simply isn't possible without the play of all-star safety Kevin Bayard. The Titans hit a home run when they drafted Bayard 64th overall back in 2016, the same year they drafted 2 other stars in Mr. Henry and offensive lineman Jack Conklin. Bayard has been a mainstay in Tennessee's secondary since his 2016 rookie year. It is no coincidence that the Titans reeled off 6 straight winning seasons, 2 division titles, and an AFC title game appearance in 2019 under Bayard's leadership. Since 2017, only Miami Dolphins superstar cornerback Xavier Howard had more total interceptions than Bayard with 27. Considering Bayard is a safety and not a corner, those numbers are pretty dang remarkable. Through his first 7 seasons, Bayard had 27 picks, 63 pass defenses, and he was also a machine in pass coverage, yielding a passer rating of under 80 when targeted all but 1 year since 2018 per Pro Football Reference. Through his first 7 games, Bayard had 27 picks and 63 pass defenses. He was also a machine in the pass coverage department, yielding a passer rating of under 80 when targeted all but 1 year since 2018 per Pro Football Reference. Opposing QBs had a passer rating of just 68.7 when targeting Bayard in 2021 and a 77.8 passer rating in 2022. Y'all get the hint by now, opposing signal callers? The less you throw in his direction, the better it'll be for you. But which other NFL players have elite production and talent but get no recognition? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.